special thank you to our host, alumna Nikki Noya, class of 2000. While at URI, she was a member of the women's volleyball team and played on the AVP Next Tour. Her love of roadie runs deep, currently serving on the URI FAE Board of Directors and the Harrington School Advisory Board. Professionally, she is host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated cable show, The Jet Set. We're lucky to have her guide us through our journey tonight. Nikki, for the opening serve.
Thank you so much, Amy, and welcome everyone to Coach's Corner. I have to tell you guys, from watching just that slideshow, I feel like I need to go around and find my knee pads, start stretching. I'm still ready. I'm still ready to play. I had such a wonderful time playing, and I can't believe that it was 25 years ago when I first got to Rhode Island, but it's still so important to me, and so I'm so happy to be part of this. I want to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you, Nikki and Annie and Gabby, for joining me. So we're going to have lots of fun, and I actually have a lot of questions for you, but we'll get to that later. First, I want to start with a little trivia. So who's ready to answer some trivia? Okay, first question. In what year did the Rams win the Atlantic 10 title? Who knows? Who knows? It was a glorious year. It was a glorious year. Anyone know? First to answer gets a prize.
1981.
No. I need more guesses. No. It was
96.
Oh, there we go. That's the winner right there. That is the winning answer. Yes, that was my freshman year. I had just arrived at school, and that was my introduction to URI. So it was a great year. So, sir, you win, Henry Winkleman. Okay, next question. And I actually just found this out. How many seats are in Keeney Gymnasium, home to the volleyball team? Home of champions. Home of where we all had so much fun. Who knows? Anyone know? Type in your guess. Who needs a hint? Maybe a hint. It's higher than 3,000. Anyone have any ideas? And also, this is something I just learned. Oh, Carla McDermott is here, you guys. Carla was on our championship winning team. I am so happy to see you. Carla, hello. I think she's in Dubai right now. Right, Carla, are you in Dubai? What's wonderful is, even though I graduated now almost 21 years ago, is we're all still so close, and we've moved around the world and started having kids and running around like crazy, but still, it's like I spoke to Carla yesterday. Oh, she's in Ireland. Okay, so I'm just gonna give the answer. It is actually 3,385. So Amy, you can go ahead and give me the prize. Just go ahead and give me the prize. Okay, so first I want to talk about who we have with us tonight. We have Annie L. So she's one of 4 seniors on the team, and Gabby Schilling, our junior from Michigan. And also we have Coach Nicki Holmes. And I want to, first of all, thank you, Coach Holmes, for your service in the Air Force. So thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to toss it over to Coach so he can talk about all of the things that are coming up this season. Take it away, Coach.
Well, Nikki, thanks. First of all, great name. I like the name. Thank you for hosting this, and thanks for everybody for being here. It's wonderful to kind of share what we're about to do and embark on, and you guys are all a big component of what we're about to do and what we're about to kind of witness here, especially in this kind of unique, challenging year. So thank you for your participation and what you guys mean to the program. My name is Nicki Holmes. I born, raised in Oakland, California, so the farthest away you can be from Rhode Island, probably on the continent. I went to school, did my undergrad at the United States Air Force Academy, and I did my master's at Vanderbilt out of Nashville. Spent most of my time in the beginning years in the Air Force, played volleyball there, did various jobs and things like that, but really wanted to kind of do something different. So I ventured into different parts of life and moved all over the place, but everything kept drawing me back to volleyball. And so I ended up saying, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And so about 12 years ago or so, I entered the collegiate coaching realm. And so I started actually on the East Coast at Stetson University. Fun time. I actually helped start a beach program. So it was the first year of beach. So I was actually one of the first beach coaches in the NCAA, and kind of moved my way up the coast, went up to UCF, spent some time in Raleigh, both at NC State and as the head coach of NC Central. Last 3 years, don't hate me, I was the associate head coach at George Washington University here in the A10, and then gratefully made my way up the coast here to Little Rhodey. And so really excited to be here. It's been interesting for sure. I started actually about a year and a week or so ago. And so you can only imagine other things has occurred since then. And so it's been really fortunate to be surrounded by great support and family structure as Rhodey has been. Don't know how I would have done it without that support. So it's been interesting time. And one thing is, as you work in this college business, you really recognize it's the people around you. And I was really blessed to have a team and a support structure of players and a staff that we'll get into that really kind of embraced adversity and like kept you centered. And so it has really been great to have them around and do that. So I know that they wanted me to talk a little bit about kind of what we're doing to prepare. Honestly, and as people know who I am, like I'm a pretty blunt, honest guy. Like it changes day by day. The pandemic has been really interesting, but you know what? The best part about it is that it's brought us together to be able to tackle challenges. And I think that it's been interesting. So for instance, a lot of parents know we're in preseason right now and things are different. And it's actually been great because it's having us find out who we really are, kind of who our identity is. And a lot of teams go through their seasons and not even cross that bridge and then wonder why they lose or are not successful. And we are gratefully going through that process right now. And it's been really wonderful to prepare. I think we'll talk about it a little bit, but we play in about 8 days. We'll play UConn here coming up very shortly, and start of a crazy but exciting season. So really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to this and kind of the questions and just kind of everybody's feedback and input. If I can, I think I'll just toss it right now to Annie and have her kind of share a little bit about herself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Annie. I'm a senior setter from Colorado. I'm majoring in animal science and technology, and I will be graduating this upcoming spring of 2021. So that's pretty exciting. I kind of just wanted to go over how much this team has meant to me over the past couple of years, and it's really just made my college experience something that I never would have gotten anywhere else or doing anything else. So I'm really grateful for it. And I just think that I'm looking back at all of these really great memories I've gotten to make over the past 4 years. And, you know, it's kind of funny because some of these memories that I'm coming up with at the time weren't really fun things to go through, whether it was we used to do this physical test at the beginning of every preseason and how hard it was. But, you know, now we can together look back on it and just really reminisce on those old times and just look at each other and say, wow, we did that together. And it's just fun to be able to look at back at those times, even though at the time they weren't really that fun, but just kind of knowing what we've gotten to accomplish together has been pretty amazing. And this upcoming season, you know, more memories to be made. Even today, we did some community service, and just those extra team bonding activities that we've gotten to do have been so special to me. This upcoming season, just in general, we have so much to prove about our program, and we're just headed in such a great direction. It's so special to be a part of something like this, where we're kind of laying this groundwork of turning this program around and truly showing what we're capable of. And yeah, thanks, Sarah. I'm very excited too. And with that, I'm also going to just throw it over to Gabby because she's got some pretty cool things to say as well.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And also Lee and Sarah. I'm actually the vice president of our student athlete advisory committee, and Sarah on the rowing team, in addition to being volleyball's #1 fan, is the president. So we work together a lot. Good to see her here. Like they said, I'm a junior from Michigan and I'm a middle blocker. And for this season, I'm just really excited personally to adjust to this new position. I played previously right side, so now I'm in the middle taking on a new challenge. And I just want to grow and develop into a leader as we kind of shift this program in a new direction. And I think Annie and our seniors have done such a great job. Thanks again, Sarah. I've done such a great job of leading us in this new direction. And as a team, just really developing this culture and this identity. And we talk about ownership and vision and what we want to do with our future. And just to reiterate what Annie was saying with the bonds that we've created, even just this far, we had an old teammate, Jenna, had this phrase like forced friendships that blossom, because you have these people coming from Oregon and Texas and Colorado and Michigan and all these places, and you're forced to really be together, maybe even if you originally don't gel, but you kind of grow through the struggle and become closer. And it's a really, really special thing that we all have. And the memories that we've all made, my personal favorite memory last season, we actually won our home tournament, the Art Carmichael Invitational. We played Boston College, Albany, and Bryant. So that was my kind of first taste of like the potential that we really had as a team. And with this new coaching staff and this new direction that we're going, I'm really excited for what the future holds.
All of the lessons that you guys learn on the court so translate to the rest of your life. And hearing you ladies talk about working together and accountability and responsibility and teamwork and all of those qualities that when you're learning as you're trying to, work towards the goal to win a game, that really translate to the rest of your life. I am so proud of you guys, and I can't wait to see all of the things that not only you guys accomplish on the court, but then after you leave Rhode Island, I'm watching you guys. I'm watching to see all the amazing things that you guys do. So let's jump into some questions. Are you ready? All right, let's do it. Just go ahead and unmute yourself so I can hear you. All right, let's dive in here. First one is for Coach. Coach. Well, let's just say Nikki. This will be your first season at URI. What made you decide to go to URI to coach?
Well, the fast answer is Thor, athletic director. And when you do this in college, especially, you look at location and size and stuff, which Rhode Island has. But really, in the end of the day, you look at support. You look at like, okay, you hear the words, especially when they bring you on interviews. And I was being courted by some other schools. And so it was a really fast turnaround process. I think I was on a flight and back in the same day, kind of stuff like that. And, and you hear them talk and you can understand that there's care about not just Rhode Island, not just about the university, but about Olympic sports and specifically volleyball. I care about the history and the legacy of volleyball. I care about what we can do in the future to support student athletes. Not about, oh, you must have X's and O's and W's and L's. Like it was really truly about how can we better create a great supportive learning environment for students. Mm-hmm. And which is what I want to do. And the best part about it all / the worst part about it all is with everything's gone on, the proof was in the pudding immediately. I felt very supported and validated in the decision to come here. Now, that truly and foremost was like the number one priority. And I got up here, I've been in the A10. So I've been in the A10 for the last 3 years. So we've come up to Rhode Island. It's just beautiful. Honestly, little California kid at heart, reminds me a little bit of the Bay Area. I'm a water kid. So like I see water and I just melt for a while. So, all these pieces fit. And I think you go to places for reasons and you kind of time and that elements match up together. And so that's why I'm here, and kind of truly feel at home.
It's a special gem. I remember coming on my recruiting trip and I think I was there for about 48 hours during my senior year. It was in the fall and it was just, everything was sparkly and beautiful. And then we went over to Newport over the bridge. I was like, okay, I'm good, because I'm from Newport Beach, California. And I'm like, I'm by the water. I can have an awesome beach house. This is great. And now I still have family now. So many years later, but it is
so awesome.
Okay, Coach, what are your goals for this season?
Sure.
Everything's all changed around. So what's the goal?
Yeah, no, it's funny. I don't actually think they've changed that much. I think we always want to create an environment that's safe for the athletes to experiment and explore being a leader and trying to chase something bigger than themselves, right? And so, even with this season, this postponed season, we always had the intent and purpose to do it safely and securely so that those student athletes can get that experience. And so that has never changed. I think the token answer is like go win A10s and all that. And I'm a true believer that if we are lifelong learners and we're trying to become 1% better all the time, those things will fall into place immediately. And so, and I'm not worried about speed of that, because honestly, by having that mantra and mindset, the speed will come as well. So I think some of our motivation and some of the goals is really, one, always trying to create the best environment possible for them so that they can grow and learn. And then from there, we're going to always strive to be 1% better. And then all the good things will fall upon us at that moment.
Well, speaking of environment, what is the attendance going to look like at games coming up? What's the fan situation going to be?
It's a moving situation, super fluid. I do believe that at some point we'll reevaluate, fans at our home gyms. Right now, though, like with everything going on, like none of the sports here on campus will actually have fans in attendance. We work really hard in like these weekly meetings, and really at the end of the day, it's down to safety. It's really like, how do we protect the student athlete's ability to have an experience? So yeah, there's not going to be fans, and all the home and away matches really are dependent not only at the universities we're playing at, but the states. So for instance, we talked a little bit about this. We already know this. DC has already said no sporting events will have fans. We've already crossed that bridge with them. It wasn't GW's decision, but 20 minutes later in Mason, looks like we'll probably have fans. So I think it's a fluid situation that we're trying to communicate with everybody, try to figure that out.
It's I myself am in DC, and we are but when I go across the bridge to Virginia, the rules are different, and when I go across to Maryland, it's different. You just roll with it. Speaking of rolling with it, if you guys have any questions or comments, or you guys want to make sure that I mention something to the team here, please put it in our chat, and I will make sure that I will ask your questions. So keep them coming in. Okay, let's talk about the Big Ten and Pac-12. What's going to take for our Rams to get up there?
Sure. I saw the question. It was like, what was it to compete? And I took great offense. It's more about what it is to win in the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I think a lot of it really stems in three things. Like, so you look at resources and staffing. I think I've hired some of the best staff possible. My first assistant, Angela Gu, she was actually with Wisconsin last year in the national championships as the runners-up. And so having that experience, plus she played here in the A10 at Dayton, has coached at LaSalle. We wanted to bring some of that experience in, just that environment. How do you act in those moments? Because, you do all this hard work and that tournament, and I've been luckily a part of championship moments. It's all the prep, and then you forget your name, right? As you know, and all of a sudden you're just going on autopilot because you've been there with the trust of each other and that born credibility you've worked with each other. And so having her on staff has been wonderful because she can be that role model. I think she is that role model that we desperately needed to just say, hey, this is it. You can do this. And then, my second assistant, Jordan Young, played for me, and 3 years A10 experience, great seasons under that. So just having people that have done it before, I think was a big part. So that's the ticket, that experience and that kind of getting the resources. I think we're doing that, feel pretty supported. Now it's about getting some experience. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. So we have to play Big Ten, Pac-12 matches. We have to have West Virginia in our gym, which hopefully will, quote unquote, happen in about a month. We need to see and put ourselves out there and then learn from those lessons and create systems that our kids can be successful in and these young women can thrive in. So I don't think it's far away. There's a big recruiting component, which I know we're probably going to get to, but that comes with time. But the nows are really about how we approach the situation, get some of those reps in against those teams. And that's part of the plan.
Absolutely. It's all in the preparation. Hey, Coach, let's talk about, I'm getting some questions about, will the games be virtual? Can people watch them online?
Sure. Unfortunately, and I explained it to the parents a little bit, so this will be probably a good time to kind of talk through it. Unfortunately, none of the Olympic sports will have streaming here at URI. A lot of that stems from resources, but the interesting and great part about that for us, we spent roughly, and I got clearance to say the number, so $350,000 to put streaming in Bikini. That was kind of one of the major things we wanted to do. All that was supposed to go in the spring, along with hiring of staff for video. And unfortunately, with the pandemic and staff holds, freeze, the Harrington School and us both kind of agreed not to. So we're gonna probably not have streaming for our home games. We are making moves with some away games to have streaming. I did talk to the parents about a solution for them with some of the video that wouldn't violate some streaming rules, so which I can talk to them about later. But like, we are gonna figure out how to at least get some content to them. So might not be live, but 3 hours, something like that. Yeah. And you know, and we're putting that on our staff. So hopefully my staff will not hate me for that. But like I think it's important that we get those resources, because going back to your question about the Big Ten, some of it's content too. You know, like our presence out there. I think a lot of the recruits we have coming in, a lot of that was because of content and presence. Like you were talking about the beach house of Newport.
Yeah.
Sending one picture of where our players live,
yeah,
evens the playing field across the nation
right.
for recruiting. So.
All right, well, thank you, Nikki. Now I'm gonna move it now over to the girls, so I hope you don't mind. Annie, Gabby, are you ready? Okay, unmute yourselves, and I have got some questions for you ladies. You just tell me when you're ready.
We're ready.
Okay.
As ready as we'll ever be.
So I talked to you a little bit about why I chose URI. I instantly fell in love with just the feeling of the school. Why did you guys choose URI?
Gabby, would you like to start?
Sure. Well, Nikki already touched on it. It's pretty hard to see a beach house and be like, hey, you could be here for 4 years, you know? So I think the environment played a huge factor in it. And one thing that's really cool is I think the campus and the school size in general is that like perfect sweet spot. I think it's about 16,000 undergrads. So it's one of those like campuses where you see a new face every day, but you also see different people and new people every day. So you're not like a small fish in a big pond, and you don't feel like, you know, the only thing there is athletics. It's a really good balance of things. And also just the history of the team. The fact that Keeney is just our volleyball gym. There's not basketball lines there. It says Rams volleyball on it. So just that, I think all of those combined really made it a place that I could see myself at for 4 years.
I love that gym. I love that gym. Even when I walk in today, I just love Keeney Gym. Hey, Annie, what about you? What made you choose URI?
Oh, you're muted, Ann.
My bad. I always love this question just because I think it's very, it just explains my personality very well. So when I was going through the whole recruiting process and everything, I didn't really have like a dream school ever. And honestly, I didn't really come from that great of a club, and I'm not very tall. So I wasn't really shooting very high, to be honest. And this was probably at the time the highest I could have gone. Me and Nikki have talked about this. Like I feel like I've grown into what I was supposed to be, which is pretty great. But this opportunity was kind of once in a lifetime shot. So that was pretty cool. But when I was looking up colleges, it was more along the lines of, I need trees. So I looked at like colleges and like campuses that just had a lot of trees. And then it kind of just fell into place that they had the major that I wanted to go into. And then everything just kind of fell into place. And then when I went to the school, it was kind of what you have already explained, you know, you walk around and you get that feeling where you just see yourself walking to class there, and you can see yourself like that's your place. So I thought that was a really cool, almost indescribable feeling. You kind of have to feel it for yourself.
I totally get it. It's a magical place. And even every time I go back and visit, I think, oh my God, this place, if I'm on Ocean Drive and driving through Narragansett, I'm like, I can't believe like I get to call this place home. And then all of those just great places, and it's a magical place. And sometimes people would say like, Rhode Island, you're going to Rhode Island because I grew up in California. I'm like, just wait. Go there, and now everyone who goes there, their minds are like, you're right. It is an absolutely beautiful place. Okay, let's talk about goals. I want to hear about personal goals, and then I also want to hear about volleyball goals. So let's kind of dive into kind of where you see yourself going, both on and off the court.
So yeah, I mean, with me graduating very soon, it's a little bit scary, but also very exciting. I eventually want to become a vet. That's one of my big goals for myself. I'm not quite sure how I'm getting there yet, but I do have options that I'm looking into right now. That's kind of one of my main things. I think for this year in general, it's just such a huge change for somebody to go from college into the real world, if that's my path. And, just figuring that out as I go. I kind of just have this encompassing goal of just being better and just finding triumphs in the little things. So, however small they may be, just every step of the way, being grateful for everything that I have and just being gracious for what I've accomplished, that sort of deal. So, that's kind of personally what I want to accomplish, like outside of life at the moment, or outside of volleyball at the moment. And in volleyball, I have some very specific goals, such as like running a consistent four-hitter offense, which I don't know if that really means much, but that's one of them. I know beating GW is a big thing for me, just because Nikki's here now, and that's like number one on my list. Like, I want to beat GW very bad.
I understand. I was in the stands watching that game, so I get it. I get it, Annie.
Yes. So that's another one. And obviously the overall goal of mine is just winning A10s for this last season of mine.
These sound like good goals. What about you, Gabby?
So one of the silver linings in this COVID situation is the extra year of eligibility that we get. And for some people, it's a hard choice because, like Annie said, you kind of have to decide, are you going to go into the real world or kind of continue this volleyball dream for a little bit longer? Nikki actually approached me. I was going to graduate a little bit early, and fortunately, with the extra year of eligibility, I decided to stay for a 5th year. So with that, I will be pursuing my MBA at URI, which was a really great opportunity that I would have otherwise not had due to COVID. So
awesome.
I know, thank you. So in terms of what's next for me, that's the next part. But lifetime goals, I would love to do something in athletics administration, and I'd love to be an athletic director or some type of sports administrator. But with volleyball, as I know Annie's touched on, I think beating GW is sort of this underlying thing with our team. But winning the A10s is also really big for us. I think that Nikki, on one of his first meetings when he was in our locker room and like introducing himself and what he wanted the goals for our team to be, he said, I fully intend on like winning the A10 championship. Like, it wasn't even a question, it was a matter of fact. So I think that for us, it's really just doing everything that we can do with the most intent that we have and putting ourselves in the best position to be that competitive team that can compete at the top level for our conference.
This is so exciting. I swear, Nikki, I have my knee pads back here somewhere. I'm number 12. I played middle blocker. I was right side. Just sneak me in, please. I want to get on that court so bad. And actually, Nikki, we have a question from our audience here. What is your squad size? And has COVID affected recruiting?
Sure. Yeah, I saw it from Carla. We're at 15 right now. We'll fluctuate between 15 and 17 through the next few years, which is a pretty atypical squad size for us. Has COVID affected recruiting? I think, in the big picture, it has clearly. I think the physical limitations, and for those that don't know, clearly travel is very limited. But youth sports are starting to rise up in multiple states. And so recruiting is happening. However, at the Division I level, we're still in what's called a dead period. So they've extended those rules for us for a multitude of reasons. So we're actually not allowed to recruit physically until April 15th, possibly could get extended even further. So I think part of like when you recruit at the Division I level, you do a lot of legwork. It's a job interview, right? So you watch a lot of film, you try to have communications with them, you talk to people that are in their lives or decision makers so you understand, can they be here for 4 years? Can they live and breathe with a Rhode Island degree on their wall? I ask every recruit that, because they have to be good with that. It can't just be about the volley, right? Because you look at you, Nikki, and your passion for the place. The volley on top of that makes up who you are, right? And so this is a special thing. I tell them all the time, only 1.6, 1.7% of kids in a class play Division I. That's not even scholarship. That's just playing. It's special. You're designed and really meant to be there. And so like we do a lot of work before we even see them. I think COVID has really just enlightened the fact of like relationships matter, like, which I think we all know that lesson. And so we spend even more time than we do. In the span of this call, I've had 5 texts from recruits. Like we're trying to build relationships, not only with them, but with parents, club directors, people that are influencers, and get the roadie name out there. I think that's been the biggest part. So I think it's affected us actually better, being kind of a new program, just because it allowed us the time to build relationships for and have to like run off to Utah or Kansas and just kind of be somewhere. So I've actually been pretty excited with our class.
Good. Well, Nikki, speaking of parents, I'm going to talk about parents here because it is they play such a big role. I mean, through our club experience and driving us all over the place. So thanks parents out there all over the place for driving us to all of our club tournaments and then flying to visit us at URI. But hey, Annie and Gabby, I'm going to ask you guys, how influential were your parents in contributing to your love of the sport of volleyball and playing for a D1 school? I know my mom had to sit by herself in the stands while I was playing because she was acting out all of my moves while I was doing. So what was the role that your guys' parents did in your volleyball upbringing?
I think it's something that is so unrepayable. You know, I'd never had a situation where they weren't supportive of me in doing this. And it's kind of funny because I laugh about it now because in 4th grade, I kind of wanted to, all my friends were horseback riders. And they were like, nope, don't do that. Too expensive. Like, yeah, granted, it probably is more expensive, but we kind of get through the whole club thing and how much effort and time that they had to sacrifice just to put not only me, but my younger sister through that same process. And so I think just that's something that I'm so thankful for. And I can't repay the amount of time and effort and support and love that they've put into me to be able to accomplish this. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So thank you, Dad.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. You guys are awesome. What about you, Gabby?
Yeah, a pretty similar experience. I started a little bit later. I didn't start playing on a competitive club team until I was about 14, but they were always supportive from the very beginning, driving us to and from every tournament. And we joke about it now, like playing 1 match in a day is so exhausting, but back in our club days, we were playing 3-4 matches a day in convention centers and not even warming up in between, or, you know, just different situations like that. And I feel so bad for my parents, especially my mom. We would have like 6-7 hour drives back from like Kentucky and Indiana, and I wouldn't shower after because we had to check out of the hotel early. So my knee pads smell bad. And it's like this whole thing. And it's comical to look back on it now, but I think that like those moments really do kind of build you up to be the player and the athlete that you are and the person that you are. And it's these things that no matter where you come from, we all have these common experiences that bring us together. And you can be like, oh my God, you were at that national qualifier. I was there that year. And, you know, it connects you in a way that it really is this network, this volleyball network.
Absolutely. A big shout out to all moms and dads who packed our snacks and put up with our really smelly knee pads and and took us all over the place, because now, you know, looking back now, I'm just so grateful that they gave me the chance to play, and now I get to be talking to you ladies now. It's pretty awesome. So thanks, moms and dads out there. Okay, these next ones are for all of you guys. Let's talk about inspiration before games or an approach to a game. Like, do you guys, I know you guys probably watch tapes or, you know, of your opponents, but what else is your inspiration as you're going into a game? Don't all answer.
I'll start a little bit just to give them some time to think. I think a big part for me as a coach, which is kind of one of the reasons I got into this, and these two are going to laugh about what I'm about to say. I tell them all the time, this is hard. Like, this is extremely hard. And to watch young adults tackle something so public and as having to put everything out on the line to where literally websites, newspapers, and cable channels publish results, right? And that it's some of the hardest things you'll ever do. And you're, by the way, under 22, 23. And so it really, you know, when you watch a team work so hard to do something that they love so much and they don't know anything else, to be honest with you, it's emotional in a lot of ways. And it's really motivates people that on my side of the house to like work really hard to do this. So that's always like a big part of this for me.
What about you ladies?
There's like multiple things obviously that kind of drive me to play. A lot of them are external forces, like we just talked about. My parents, you know, kind of doing my best to pay them back for all the encouragement and support that they've put into me to get here. A lot of it is for me, you know, playing for myself and trying to finish out this last season and really be able to look back and be proud of the effort and all of this, like all of the accomplishments I've made. So a lot of it's a lot for me, and honestly just winning. I love winning, and I think that there's nothing worse than losing. So just avoiding that feeling of losing and getting the feeling of winning is really important to me. So just going in and just also getting to feel the adrenaline of having that fight and accomplishing something like that is so great, especially alongside these people that you've worked so hard for. Like Nikki said, this is hard, and sometimes we take that for granted, and, you know, it becomes so routine. Like he said, we don't really know anything different. So it's easy to kind of get lost in it, but just being able to look at each other and know that we accomplished something together is something that really pushes me forward through some of those tough matches.
What about you, Gabby?
We actually recently had an assignment where we had to watch a match from before 2010. And it was so funny because me and my housemates immediately, we were watching like Penn State circa 2009 when they won like 3-4 in a row, or it was like 100 and something straight matches in a row. And immediately the consensus after all of it was like, oh my God, I just want to play volleyball right now. Like there's something about the history and watching these people grind and be so successful and just work extremely hard to accomplish something together that makes you want to follow suit and do the same. And it is an internal thing of wanting to be the best version of yourself and working to accomplish a goal and going past, you know, a barrier that you maybe thought you never were going to reach. But it's also these external factors, you know, wanting to, you know, make your parents proud. And even though, you know, they don't maybe necessarily want you to play volleyball for that reason, it's still internally part of you because that's what made you who you were, was them driving you to those tournaments and the gas money and the hotels. And, you know, you get there and nothing's open but Applebee's. So that's like what you eat for dinner or whatever. So it's just like all those little moments compile and compound, and that's what you play for at the end of the day.
Absolutely. All of those lessons, looking back, all of those lessons that I learned on the court completely prepared me. You're used to playing in front of people. You're used to showing up on time. You're used to working as a team to reach goals. So many life lessons learned on those volleyball courts with your teammates, with your coaches. And then as you get out into life, who knows, you come back and you get to talk. Now I'm on a TV show talking to millions of people. And a lot of what I do every day is lessons that I learned on that floor in Keeney Gymnasium. You guys, thank you so much for answering my questions. I'm going to now finish. We have 2 more trivia questions. Who's ready for some prizes? Because Annie, I'm just like you. I like to win. I am still so competitive. It drives my husband crazy. I like to play everything. Okay, let's see. What retired URI athletic director and member of the URI Hall of Fame was a certified official in 3 sports, including volleyball? Who knows this? And bonus points, type it in the chat. Bonus points if they can tell me what 2 sports they played. Anyone know? Anyone know? It's not Thor. You would think it's Thor, but it's actually not. It starts with an E. Anyone know? Her name starts with an E. Anyone? Her name is Ellie. Does anyone know her last name? Anyone? There you go, Jay Manning. Way to go. I think you might have now had 2 prizes. So You might have to pass one of those prizes around. Okay, last question. True or false? There are 2 statues of Rhodey the Ram on the URI Kingston campus. Are they true? Henry Winkleman for the win. He was first. That was it. Henry, congratulations. I actually don't know what the prizes are, so I'm actually ready for a prize myself. As you can see, I like trophies. I like all that stuff. So if you guys want to give me a prize. Okay, so we are going to end with, I'm going to toss it over to Garrett actually right now. Garrett, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. Great to see you again. Hi, everybody. I don't know if I've met some of you, but if I haven't, my name is Garrett Waller. I'm the Associate Athletic Director for Development here at URI. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to gather together and see each other in person at the matches like we normally do, but at least we get to see each other now on this call. And hopefully, if you guys think this went well, we'll continue a couple more of these throughout the season and maybe have a little bit more interactive and talk about how the team's doing and, you know, grill Nikki to see how the season's going. Of course, that's always fun with coaches, right, Nikki? Since I work in the development office, I just wanted to give you a few quick updates about what the university is doing. First, a lot of you helped contribute on the Day of Giving on October 1st. With your contributions, the volleyball program was able to raise over $10,000 from 70 people. The university as a whole did $1.2 million from over 2,500 donors, and half the gifts to the university that they came to athletics, just to show you the strong base of support that we have. Also, the university is in the middle of a current capital campaign called Big Ideas, Bold Plans, the campaign for URI. It's a comprehensive campaign, so all gifts and everything that has to do with any type of fundraising endeavor, whether it's for athletics, a specific program, all counts towards the campaign. As of December 31st, we're proud to say that we've gotten to $192 million of the $250 million goal, which I think is going to get raised on us. But hey, challenges are challenges. We'll be glad to take it. But other than that, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. If you ever need anything, please, I'll leave my number in the chat. Please feel free to call me, and I look forward to seeing you guys when we get back together in person. Thanks. Back to you, Nikki.
Okay, and now I'm going to ask everyone who's here to type in the chat all of your well wishes and your inspirations and your hope for this year, because all of us who are fans just wish you guys the absolute best. And I think we actually have time for just maybe a few more questions. Let's talk about learning lessons. What's the best lesson that you've learned? Throw it at me.
Ownership. That's been a I knew you were gonna laugh.
That's Nikki's word, is it? Yeah.
Well, I haven't learned it yet. We're learning. How is that?
We had a team meeting yesterday.
I'm getting points right now. Oh, I'm just kidding. No, actually though, I think this has been such a cool lesson for us to learn, because we've been doing a lot of reflecting on past seasons, and you know, we kind of had a culture that we're trying to stray from and restructure this program. And a lot of it has to do with this idea of ownership and really throwing yourself, like finding what your purpose is and diving so deep into that so that you know exactly what your job is on that team, and holding yourself accountable so that you're helping the team as a whole, and just being able to look at actions and take part in it, and just really own yourself, own your program, have confidence, like all this stuff. It just really encompasses ownership, and I think that's been a really big lesson for all of us that has recently come up. So
word, Nikki. What about you, Gabby?
For me, I think it's intent and attention to detail. Nikki's really big on detail and is always subtly testing us, and chances are if something like looks a little off on the whiteboard or something seems a little different, it's probably intentional and you should be noticing it. So that's something I've really tried to carry with me, not just in our practices, but without my life and just other things that we do, is that like the little things really do matter. And, you know, there was a question about competing with Big Ten or Pac-12 teams, and if we want to win the A10s or compete with high level teams, that's going to be a big part of it, is our attention to detail and how we react in those situations. So that's definitely what I've taken.
Hey, Nikki, I mean, I've only met 2 of your players, but I am so impressed by their articulate manner. They're like blowing me away with just how confident and just amazing superstars, not only on the court, but also off the court. Are you just so proud of all of your players?
You know, I can't emphasize enough how, like I said in the beginning of all this, like this whole period itself, just a change, right? They have to go through this change and all the things, and then I'll add all the other stuff on top of it. You know, we just kind of put guide markers on the road and said, hey, instead of being limiting, let's go do and go be. And I've been really impressed by not like these two especially, but also like the rest of this team, like to a T, like they've embraced adversity and said, hey, we can be better and do better things. And that's why I tell them all the time. I have a lot of sayings, as they made fun of me today at this event we were at. But I really do believe that it's not about the volleyball. Like I'm not worried about the volleyball. We'll get the volleyball to win. That part's not bothered me at all. It's almost getting out of their way to be the best versions for themselves they can be, so that shines on the court. That's what we're working on, and I'm really proud of like how they act and how they are, just as humans in general.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I can already tell by just talking to them for the past hour. So impressive. And I just want to wish you guys the best luck this season and BGW. So if everyone has a drink or I have my water, but cheers to you guys. Good luck. Go kick ass and have fun. Most of all, have fun and enjoy every minute. And I'm so happy for you guys. So cheers.